Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. It is another green day on the market, so it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Nothing like going into the weekend on a green day. Hopefully, you guys have made a lot of profit. That's what I'm hoping. I'd like to see a lot of green there. So we're using, and you guys actually last night they got the first look at this during the channel member live stream. We're using a different program. We were using StreamYard. We're now using Ecamm Live. So we got a few different things going on. I'm going to show you right off the bat. I just want to show this. Um, so coming up this weekend on this week, this is how quick this is the beautiful thing. Watch. I can switch over to this week. I don't have my camera on for this week, but where it says guest one, I guess you can't see guest one, but that's what it's going to look like. I will be sitting in next to it. I still have to add the camera to that. I haven't yet, but we got a whole bunch of new layouts. Things are going to look a little bit different, a little bit on the snazzy side, which is fantastic. But as usual, let's start with the charts. As you can see, we are on the TSX and they are in the green. We're looking at 0.52% up. And if you can see, now if you're on a phone, you may not be able to see this, but definitely if you're on a TV, you'll absolutely be able to see it. But we get this little purple line down here. I'm going to pull this up a bit, put it up in the middle. This purple line is where we were at when we started in October. So as you can see, we are well up. We are well up above that purple line, having a green month. We're having a green month. We could still get some volatility before the end of October, but I do believe we're going to finish in the green. I do not want to see, I don't want to see us below that line. Sure, there would be some great buying opportunities, but for now, let's stick it. Let's do it here. Oh, and look at this. I now have a circle. I have a circle on my thing for my little picture me. So that's also kind of cool. I'm excited because you know how it is when you're a little bit on the geeky side and you get a new toy, you get excited. What can I say? The S&P 500 also in the green today, up 0.35%. I didn't actually draw a line in for them. Maybe I should have. Maybe next month we will. NASDAQ looking pretty good, up 0.65%. Dow Jones just up a tiny bit, 0.04%. So kind of flat. Gold is doing great today. Gold's up a full 1.02%. Look at that. Gold is looking really, really, really good. But if you like gold, holy banana bread, look at silver. Look at silver. Hi-ho silver, it's going up. 6.16% today. Fantastic. WTI, West Texas Intermediate, oil, it's down. It's down a full 1.73%. A lot of it is that some of the fears of what's going on in the Middle East has backed down. China is also gotten into the picture and basically saying, come on, let's get oil down. So oil is kind of retreating. Not to say everything is over in the Middle East. We don't know yet. We really don't know. It could certainly get bad. I mean, the U.S. is saying that now that Israel has said they've killed the leader of Hamas, they're saying now's the time. Let's have some peace. Let's have some peace. You killed their leader. Let's look for some peace. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Israel does seem to be very steadfast on what they want to do in the Middle East. So we'll have to see. I don't know if they're going to go for peace, but you never know. You never know. It could happen. It certainly could happen. Bitcoin having a not bad day. It is up 1.80% and Ethereum up 1.81%. So let's take a look at the heat map. Kind of funny. Considering we're having a pretty nice day, you would expect this heat map to be a little bit more green. We got a lot of green in the non-energy mineral sector. But we do got some red going on too. Look at this. Both railroads are down. CP's down 1.64. CNR's down 0.98. Both of these guys, by the way, have earning calls coming up in the coming week. Royal Bank is down. TD slow, little bit of a rebound, 0.13 up. Let's actually take a gander. Let's take a gander at the actual big time winners here. All right, this makes it a little bit more interesting. Um, so look at this AEM, ABX. So Barrick, once again, I think anything with gold or silver involved today is doing good. Um, uh, this is oh, where'd it go? All right, South Bow Corporation. Look at this. They're having a pretty good day for those of you who have gotten some of those shares when it got spun out. So not too shabby, not too shabby for South Bow Corporation. So that's kind of one of the highlights of the day. All right, I'm going to bring back all the losers because we will revisit this, of course, on the other side of the bell. Looking at the ETFs, ETFs looking pretty good. VFE, of course, up 0.37. XEQT up 0.45, VEQT up 0.49. So VEQT has been winning this battle a lot lately, I've noticed. Over to Tesla. Actually, no, we don't want to go to Tesla. Over to the United States, and let's get rid of that so we can see the full map. We got a lot of green in here. Not really bright green, but Apple's up, Nvidia is up. Microsoft up a tiny bit, Google's up a little bit, Meta's down a tiny bit, but overall not that bad of a day with tech. So things are looking pretty good in the market. All right, let's get over to crypto and see what we got. We got some green. We absolutely got a lot of green. Bitcoin up 1.77, Solana up 2.76, Ethereum 1.77. Dogecoin having a good day, up 5.92. All right, let's it's green, so we're gonna look at a crap coin that is that's red. I'm just gonna get rid of these. It'll make it very easy for us to go down and look at some little coin. I'll just grab this little coin here. Rebels Bot. I've never heard of this coin. Don't know what it is. I don't even care what it is, to be honest. If you know what it is, I'll throw it in the chat. But there's about 14,000 crap coins like these out there. They're very, 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 very risky. I would I would never recommend anybody jump on any of these. But of course, if you are interested, always start in the right place with a newer coin, and that is the white paper. Go in, read what it is, read what it's about. See if you can see a reason that it might actually do good down the road. Because you got to realize that, I mean, that's where even Bitcoin, it started as a white paper. But I mean, honestly, for investing, if you really want to get into crypto, I would avoid coins like Rebel Bots. Unless maybe you're a rebel. I don't know. I mean, this thing right now, it's worth 0.007. So basically 0.7 of a cent. Not very much. It used to be at one point worth 4.5 cents. So it just hasn't it hasn't been having a good time. Stick to your tried and true coins. And let's just pull them back up. Stick to your Bitcoin. Stick to your Ethereum, Solana, XRP, the bigger coins. You're going to be in a better situation if you do, for sure. All right. Oh boy, now I can get back to the chat, and you guys are going to be able to see some of the improvements with that. So I just have to go back to my base view. This is what we call this one now. This is now the base view. I love it. All right, let's get in here. Let's start with Sarah's abstract boyfriend. Says, ha, made it in time for one finally. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you made it. We got Bleak in the house with the greetings, and you'll notice as well, this is a little different down here. The little thingy. Yesterday when we started, it was way up, and I had to sort of move it around and tinker around a little bit. All right. Let's see where am I at. It's a little bit harder to see where I'm at in this one from the previous one. What we were on Bleak. All right. Vanit is in the house with a hi all. And we got Mary in the house. So guys, you got to hit the like button. Now, I don't know how many likes there are, but I have a feeling there might be 7 because right now this thing is telling me 7 up there. 8. Ooh, look at that. One of you hit the like button. Mary smiled. I can tell. I can tell. All right, this is awesome. Oh, I was supposed to drink I was supposed to drink coffee when Mary is getting you guys to hit that like button. So here we go. Oh, another person hit 9. I can see the likes. I love it. Come on, somebody, anybody who hasn't hit right now, hit it right now. I want to see one more. I want to see one more. And while we do that, we're going to go over here to Kevin Kaz, who says, oh, we got 5 minutes until the bell. Oh, there we are. Number 10. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is cool. Let's see. Woohoo. Made a live show. Afternoon gang. Had a good run with Hut today. Left a lot on the table, but did profit. That's the important thing, right? Being able to profit. I always say this. If you're taking profit off the table, you've won no matter what. So it's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. You may take the profits too soon. Nothing wrong with that. You still won. Taking profits is, I had a little hiccup. Taking profit is much better than leaving money on the table and then turning it back into a loss. So, that is fantastic. All right. Alberto says hi. Welcome to the stream, Alberto. Tom is in the house. Looks like Air Canada is still flying high for us, Candace. Oh boy, yeah. Oh, we got time. We got time. All right, let's take a quick gander at Air Canada. I have to do. There we go. This is the one here. Perfect. Let's go right over here. Air Canada. Here we go. AC. Boom. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on. Look at this. $18.30. What is going on with Air Canada? Holy banana bread. They're getting up there. We'll go back to that 1 year, but look at this. They continue to keep on climbing. As some of you know, maybe not everyone, but most of you probably do, I am playing Air Canada as a swing trade in the 0 to 100K challenge. My goal with that is every time it's been under $16, so right about here, so right under here, I've been buying up a couple, 5 shares each month. And then the goal is, if it's not under 16, I don't buy. But as soon as it hits 20, I'm going to, I might sell. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to look at a situation that if it's at 20, and it's still moving, I'll probably sit back and put in some limit orders so that I'll still sell at above 20. But I might ride it a little further if it's still moving. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I might be. I didn't think I'd be getting out of Air Canada until 2025. But if this keeps up, it could be sooner than I think. So, and keep in mind, I'm just putting this out there. Air Canada is another one of these companies that has a good amount of debt. Like, let's take a look at their debt right now. Oh, I'm going to take a look at the time because I do not want to miss the bell. I've had a couple of days in the last couple of weeks where I've been late for the bell. So I don't want to do that. Here we go. No, look at that return on equity, 603.77%. That's kind of messed up. But look at this debt to equity. So their debt to equity is 1,071%. That's crazy. So as you can think, when we get these rate cuts, and if we get the 50 basis points I'm expecting next week, that's going to be good for Air Canada. It's certainly going to help them quite a bit. Also, people are starting to get to that point where this might be a year where people might decide to travel over the holidays because, of rate cuts, and perhaps they haven't done it in a while. So maybe that could be good for Air Canada. So we're going to have to see. I'm loving this. This is really great. Okay, we got about, we don't have much time, but we got a little bit of time. We got Funny Books in the house with a hi. And Jonathan says, hold that bell. I'm coming. Jonathan, I've got 30 seconds. Sorry, I got 30 seconds. You got to make it. You got to make it. About 25 seconds now. Let's see. Are rebel bots Decepticons or Transformers? Crypto in disguise. That's actually quite funny. I don't know. We got about three. Oh, you know what? For the bell, let's just go back to the base view. Bang. Here we go. We are so close. We are so close. All right. The bell. Woo-hoo. Welcome to the weekend, folks. The market is officially closed. We will take another look at the market in about 15 minutes because the Nasdaq, the only exchange on my trading view is delayed. They have a 15-minute delay on them. Everybody else up to the second, but we'll be back. We will definitely be back. All right, where were we at? Um, oh yes, Jungle Eddie. Jungle Eddie. Sold out of Nvidia at $140. That's absolutely fantastic. So I know this. Jungle set a limit order today, and I know this because Jungle mentioned it over on Discord. Jungle set a limit order for 140, and Nvidia peaked up to 140 today. So that's some vacation money set aside for Eddie. And I don't know if you answered over in Discord yet. I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to check it out. But let me ask you this: where are you planning on going? Where are you planning on going? Do you have a place yet? All right. Burger says crude dropped to 68 again, picking it up along with natural gas, but the natural gas could drop another 10 to 30%. Yeah, and oil can continue to drop as well, if things start to look better in the Middle East. Because before all of the problems in the Middle East, we were in a situation where we had too much oil on the market, too much, also natural gas too. Um, so that's kind of becoming a bit of a play again at this point in time. All right. Let's see. Jonathan says, love the transparency on the comments background. Yeah, I love that too. So that's kind of fun. Meow says, your audio sounds a bit echoey. Oh boy. Interesting. Like I said, I'll have to figure a few things out here. Now, I got a weird audio thing when I oh, wait a minute. Let me try this. On echo cancellation. So we'll see if that took care of the echo. Hopefully. Let's see. The mic audio sounds a bit robotic. Okay, all right, fair enough. Let me know right now though, because I have turned on echo cancellation. We'll see if that did it. If not, I may have to make some other adjustments with this new version here. Let's see. Sounds like you're in a tin can, but am I floating in space? Am I floating in space? You guys get the reference? You guys get the reference. I don't have to tell you the reference to floating in a tin can in space. Come on, you guys know what that is. Funny Book says my comments from last night remains on screen. Glitch with the new software. Really? That's kind of weird. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing your comments from last night. But we'll look. We'll look. We'll take a look. All right. Let's see. Ricardo's in the house with a good afternoon. And let's see. So wow, nuclear is exploding. Ricardo, those may not be the best words to say. The nukes are exploding, folks. No, just we'll leave that alone. Let's see. I've literally made 12% of my entire portfolio in 1 week with DNN, UROY, UEC, BWXT, and the recent acquisition of LTBR. Alone today, 57% gain. Yeah. We've been in a situation where, you know, there's a lot. Uranium is absolutely in the news. There's so many data centers, so many tech companies that are saying um, we want uranium, we want nuclear power. In fact, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but Nvidia is looking to create a data center in Japan, and they told Japan the data center has to have access to nuclear power. So that's where we're heading in the future. I think right now uranium, we're finally getting into that point where that's not a bad investment, not even remotely a bad investment. So we gotta see. We gotta see. All right. Let's see here. Paul says, let's see. Oh, interesting. So on my little list here, it doesn't show me that this here is it's one of the free membership super chats that we get. But 10 months of membership. Thank you, Paul. That's awesome. So crypto, BTC, and Sol may sell then TFSA BTC ETF. All right. Interesting, interesting. I saw I saw something today in regards to I think it was one of the U.S. companies wants to do something and put Sol in an ETF with Bitcoin as well. So that might be what you're talking about. So yeah, I did see a little bit about that. I didn't get a chance to read too deeply into it though. But yeah, that's really really cool. Um, oh, Jungle, you're going to Yukon for the Northern Lights. You know, you don't have to go there for the Northern Lights. Apparently, they were here last week. I missed them. I absolutely. It's not that I miss them. I don't know what it was. The night that they happened, I was convinced that it was overcast. I was convinced, so I didn't even look, and now I'm kicking myself because I've never seen them. I always miss them. But yeah, heading up to the Yukon, you're definitely going to see some. Although jungle, invest in an Arctic parka for sure, because it's going to be friggin' cold in the Yukon in January. Let's see. Ricardo says, and I did scoop me one share of STRA as a control share to keep an eye on it. Nice, nice. All right. Dion, sorry, D Leon. D Leon, I hope I'm saying that right. Hello, all long-time listener, first-time caller. Well, thank you very much. I always love, one of my favorite things is when somebody who I've never seen before speaks up in chat, just even if it's just a hello. It's fantastic. Welcome to the to the chat, D Leon. D Leon. There we go. I think I got it. Um, I am so bad at pronunciation sometimes. Let's see. Ricardo says, you have the same last name as me. Hey, twin. Oh, okay, so D Leon to. Yeah, all right. We got it. Nice. All right. Couple people just let me know that the sound is better. The echo cancellation worked. Good, good. I love it when we fix it on the fly. Which is great, which is great. I'm sure we're going to run into more bugs with the new software as we move along, but I am liking it. I'm liking it quite a bit. All right, related to my comment above, before capital gains get too large. Yes, yes, absolutely. Because that's that thing right now. If you're invested in crypto, if you're invested in Bitcoin, and we get the movements on the charts that we're expecting. So, it has been a good amount of time since the happening, and when Bitcoin explodes, if you're holding these ETFs outside, of course, of your TFSA, there's going to be some big capital gains on them. So I think in this situation here, Paul's thinking of moving things around a little bit before those capital gains get too big. I think that's a good idea. I think that's definitely a good idea. All right. A Burger says Taiwan Semi CEO CC Wei announced during the earnings call a 30% increase in profit and expects the same for the next 5 years, stating chip production is only in the beginning stages. Yeah, I would agree 100%. Um, the big stumbling block right now for AI and for that high demand on chips is power, is electricity. And with all of these companies moving towards nuclear, whether they be modular nuclear reactors or full scale nuclear reactors, it looks like they've got a way around it. They have a way around it, and I think that's what they're going to do. All right. And DeLeon is saying not a lot of first name DeLeons out there. Ah, I'm gonna have to, like, after the stream, I'll have to just say D Leon or D Leon, D Leon, D Leon over and over again until I get it right. Let's see. Oh, our first name is oh, your first name is D Leon. Okay. And he's like, I thought you put your last name first. All right, cool. All right, All right, let's get over here to burgers. The only nuclear running company in Japan is the lovely TEPCO, which is still shut down. Two reactors since Fukushima. Shares $3 to $4, 10 billion market cap, 70 billion profit per year, 90 billions in assets. I am long. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. Um, yeah, right now I really think when it comes to anything nuclear, um, going long on them not a bad idea at all. All right, Paul says for Sol, there is HODL on Vancouver Stock Exchange, but it has gone up really fast, 300% in the last month, and too small of a stock. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right. We got Roku from Stittsville. Let's see. There now seems to be a low-level bass popping while you're talking that wasn't there before this new streamware. Huh, interesting. Interesting. That's gonna be my next goal, as watch a couple videos on on some of the audio going through Ecamm Live, just to see what is going on. So, I mean, the big reason, just so you guys, and those of you who aren't in the know, basically, I was using StreamYard before. So, one of the big things I liked about StreamYard, it was simple, it was pretty easy to use, not super customizable though. But they were bought out by another company this year, and as all of our renewals are coming up, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're doubling the price. It's like, what? Really? I actually didn't know they were doubling the price until the 7-year celebration stream. Friggin came in and let me know. And so a lot of people are jumping ship, going to other streamers. So in this case, I was like, okay, Ecamm Live. I heard a lot of rave reviews, and it also works on the Mac Plus. Plus, it runs locally, so it's actually on my computer. So I don't have to worry about, I don't have a limit on how many streams I can save, because it just saves it automatically into my, into my folders, opposed to StreamYard, where I'd have to keep on deleting older ones because you only had like I think a 50 hours there. The other thing I like too, this one just gives me so much more customization. So that's one of the big things that I like about this one as well. But yeah, we'll have to figure out a few things. I'll have to probably play a little bit as we fine tune the sound, because I definitely need to get the sound uh, resolved as fast as possible. So we got rid of the echo. Now we got a little bit of a bass. That could be, I don't know if that could be the gain. Might be the gain, so I'll have to look at that. But we'll get this all figured out, folks. No worries about there. All right, let's see. And especially popping. I don't know about the popping, but all right, we'll figure it out. Let's see. Ricardo says, Candace, I was thinking, and do you know any public companies that focus on building electrical grids for this new energy that is going to be flowing? Um, I don't know of any companies in particular that specialize, of course, in electrical grids. Although, although, if you go to Hammond, Power Solutions and Manufacturing, I mean, they do build like transformers. Well, Hammond Power, so HPS, that's what they do. They build transformers, and that's a major part of the grid. So, and I'm very bullish on both HPS. Now, HMM, they build a lot of the enclosures that the stuff that HPS builds would go into. So, and data, even data centers, there's a relation in there as well. So, Hammond may have retraced a little bit since they had those big explosions, but I am still, I am still very, 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 what's the word? Bullish on both of them for sure. All right. Here we go. Let's see, because what I was thinking is that we need the energy, but our current grid can't hold all this new power. So my thought would be we need to build the infrastructure of the electrical grid. So that's my next idea. No, that's a really good way to think, Ricardo, because I think that we are going to be getting a lot of grids. I think the grids have to be sort of redone. I think all pretty much everywhere. A lot of the grids, you got to look at a lot of the electrical grids are really really old. So they do need to make a lot of changes. And we've seen it. We've seen issues like look at Texas. What was that? A couple summers ago, they had some of those brownouts and everything, and they had the grid came down for a bit. So I do think that is something to be looking at for sure. All right. Okay, let's get here to burgers. Let's see. That Nvidia deal means that they're joined the Toyota Alliance. Uh-oh. Maybe. Let's see. The echo is still there a bit. Okay. All right. So we still get a tiny bit of an echo. Um, Let me try something. I'm turning down the volume a tiny bit on me. Maybe that is what it's doing because right now it had me at like 100%. So I turned that down to 83. So we'll see if that makes any difference. Let me know for sure whether or not it does. But now we've hit the point that we can go back and take another look at the market. So let me switch over to our market view. All right. And of course we need to head back to the market. All right. So we will start once again with the TSX. It did finish in the green, of course, up 0.53%. The S&P 500 also in the green, 0.4%. NASDAQ up 0.66%, not too shabby. Dow Jones up 0.9%. Gold up a full 1.1%. Sorry, 1.11%. And silver just kicking it up 6.44% at this moment. WTI down, and Bitcoin and Ethereum both up almost 2%. 1.91 for Bitcoin, 1.80. Nvidia. I just want to pull this over here because as you can see today, they had this nice little peak up here of 140.89. That's the little peak, that Jungle Eddie managed to get in there with a limit order. That's why limit orders can be really good. Because if you're just sitting here manually trying to hit it, and you have this in this 1 hour, you do manage to go up, um, you know, you put in that order and you might actually sell. And that's exactly what happened to Eddie. So that's not too shabby. In Tesla's looking a little better. Well, not that much better, but they're sitting at 220. They've been pretty much going pretty flat here since this happened. Now we do have an earnings coming up for them. I don't know the exact date. It's not this week. I think it's the following week. I think I could be absolutely wrong on the exact date, but we got to see what happens. We got to see what happens with good old Tesla. Oh, coffee's so good. All right, let's go to our heat map one last time. Once again, over here in Canada, we got a lot of different things going on. I want to look at utilities for a second because let's just pull this up. So utilities is another sector that I think is going to be doing really well when it comes to those rate cuts. And we can already see here, look at this. I mean, here you've got Hydro 1 up 0.65, Fortis up 0.53. Even, oh God, I hate to say this. Even Algonquin is up. What's going on? I still don't recommend Algonquin, but they're they're at least moving in the right direction. But still, don't like Algonquin. But yeah, we gotta. That's yeah. Oh dear. It's like I don't want to talk about Algonquin at all. What happened there? All right. Anyway, uh, uh, there we go. There we go. That got us to the right spot. Yeah, everything is looking pretty good in here. And as we said, those non-energy minerals, we got a lot of things up because of gold. Gold is definitely helping things out quite a bit. Quite a bit. Not too shabby. Most of our ETFs looking good. I bet you if we go and take a look here and see some of the larger ones, well, here we go. XGD. Can anybody guess what this is? Gold. There we go. So yeah, that's what we're seeing. If you have an ETF that has gold in it, you're doing well. Also, your Bitcoin ones, like look at these, they're all doing pretty good, up 2.85%, 2.95%. So that's not too shabby. Over in the United States, of course, everything's looking pretty good. You got Apple up, Nvidia up. Broadcom is down though. Amazon's looking good. Walmart's looking good too. Yeah, it's not too shabby. And of course, crypto, everything is looking pretty darn good. We got pretty much a green day right across the board. Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin. I called them Bitcoin again. I was like, I don't think I was ever, you know, I was like, I don't think I'm going to call them Bitcoin ever again. I said that the other day, and now I called them Bitcoin again. But Bitcoin, when Bitcoin rises, everybody else tends to rise a little bit as well. So nothing too shabby there. Nothing too shabby at all. All right, let's get back to the chat. And then we'll do whatever you guys want to do as we finish out the stream, however long that takes. I don't know. All right, back to base view. We're back to the base. All right. So more crypto in disguise. Love it. And see, now it is Jonathan's comment from a while back. When you switch from your face to the screen, the comments change to a very old one. Oh, okay. Probably because I was using the other screen. I was using that last night. So maybe that's what it's doing. Okay. Interesting. I'll have to figure that out too. Bugs galore. What can we do? All right. Alberto says, I like to know you can tell by looking at the chart close if next week is going to be an up week or a down week. All right. I'll tell you what next week is going to be. Um, we have some positives, like on the Canadian charts, we got one big catalyst. Well, we got two catalysts, a little catalyst and a big catalyst. So on Tuesday, we have the producers price index coming out. So that's basically your look at inflation from the wholesaler side. I think that's going to come in strong. I think that will be a good number. Then Wednesday, the Bank of Canada. The Bank of Canada comes out and they're gonna cut that interest rate. And I think I'm going on the record right now and saying it's 50. It's gonna be a 50 basis point cut. Um, if I'm wrong, it'll be a 25. But either way, I think that's going to be a very positive stimulus for the market. So yes, Canada looks great. The US, there's not a lot on the economic calendar. Like there isn't really any huge catalyst there that could really impact the market one way or another. There's a few different meetings, a few different people talking, but no data coming out. So I think between the two of them, that's going to guarantee us a green week. So I'll go on the record and say next week will be green. I have said that we're going to get a green October with some volatility in it. We've seen some volatility, and most of the volatility we're seeing, of course, is people are still a little bit on edge. Like nobody really knows what's going on with the presidential election. However, I did see an article to say that right now Wall Street is betting 72% chance on Kamala. So Wall Street's starting to factor in a Kamala win now. So, we'll have to see how this goes. I don't know. I mean, and I think I mentioned this the other day. Trump had a town hall where he just danced for like 39 minutes. It was crazy weird. And he's not even him and Joe Biden, they neither of them can dance. And I mean Joe's not in the race anymore, but I'm just like, what the heck? What the heck? Why? So yeah, we'll have to tell. We'll have to see what everything looks like. But if I were betting, I would be betting on a green week. All right. Jonathan says I don't mind. All right. Let's see. With the closing candle, yeah, the closing candle for next week will definitely be green. That I have no doubt. I mean, it could be that, people could get, there could be some uncertainties that come in. We may have a red day, but I think overall, the week will definitely be green. So, Manto said, "Hey, I pressed as well. Take another sip." All right, guys, this sip of coffee brought to you by Manto. Mm. Oh, Manto, that was probably the best sip out of the whole cup. Thank you, thank you. That was awesome. Um, Sorry. Let's see. One day you're going to find Bitcoin on the map. You know, I wonder if I'm kind of thinking there might already be a Bitcoin. I would not be surprised. But yeah, I that would be funny. I'll tell you right now. If I click on that random crap coin of the day and it comes up Bitcoin, I'm gonna laugh like a banshee on the channel. So your ears may not like me for a little bit, but I will howl in laughter. That would be so funny. All right. Ricardo says next week is going to be up since no economic data coming up until the elections in the U.S. Yeah, that helps. That adds a lot more stability to the market. All right. Anybody played Drug Insane Run for 3 days? 7,000%. From 0.91 to 78%. Okay. I'm not even sure what drug is. But interesting, interesting. Uh is that a crypto, Ricardo? Because it makes me I don't I can't see it as being a stock being up 7,000%, but you never know. Jordan is in the house. Hello, Jordan. Good to see you. Good afternoon, Candace. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely. I hope you're doing well as well. There was maybe too many wells in that sentence, but it's fine. Wells bring water, so we we like the wells. Ricardo, anybody seen Al? I have not seen Al. I have not seen Al at all. Who is Al? Or are we looking at aluminum? Or is that a stock? It's probably a stock. Let's take a look at Al. Since you brought it up, we'll all right, we're gonna head over to here and see what we got. Um, oh yeah, I see that. Are the rebel bots? You know what it is? I think I know what it is. So I'm gonna go this here. We'll change it to Al. I think it holds the last one that I had on that screen. I think that's what it does. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, let's take a look. All right. Okay, AL. All right, so this is ALX Resources Corporate. This is a penny stock, my friend. It's a penny stock. I have a feeling you weren't mentioning Al, but maybe you were. I don't know. Let's take a look here and see what it has done. This almost looks like you're playing Minecraft. I mean, it's like very blocky. Whoops. Go away. Go away, ad. Seriously, ad. You're right exact. Oh, skip ad. The ad was exactly where I wanted it to be. Um, okay, so from basically a penny and a half to 2.5 pennies. Okay, interesting. Interesting. As you know, I'm not a huge fan of penny stocks. Not a huge fan of penny stocks at all. And I just found out you didn't want me to look at Al. You were talking about somebody else. I see that in the comment ahead. So yeah, Al Bundy. Ah, yes, yes. I haven't seen poor Al in a bit. Um, I almost am worried. I'm worried that because Al put a lot into, if I remember correctly, I believe Al went and put a lot into Nvidia before the earnings call. And even though it didn't go the way we wanted, I did caution people not to sell at a loss, that it would get back up. And it has. And it has. But I don't know if Al, maybe Al took a loss and is just like, I've had it. I've had it. I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't. I hope Al is fine. I hope Al is fine. I hope he listened. I hope he listened to me. I hope he did. All right. Mario says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mario. Good to see you. All right, ticker symbol drug. All right. Well, we got the thing up. We'll look at drug. Um, how about we go with the G? All right, drug. All right, so, oh, the Bright Minds Bioscience. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's go back to the last. Oh boy. So, so this thing went from let's see, $1.50 basically to $47. What the banana bread? That's crazy. Um, that's really, and they've got a really big volume too. Holy cow. Let's see, epilepsy and pain. Difficult treat disorders, epilepsy. Yeah, they must have made some kind of breakthrough. Wow, that's like this is a company that wasn't on my radar, and it was a U.S. company, so I don't know what happened, but yeah, that's fantastic. Were you? Let me ask you this, Ricardo. Were you invested? Were you invested in drug? Because that would be that would make you like a guru. You'd be like a guru, like you'd be like Yoda or something. Like you sensed it through the force, and wow, that's just crazy. That is crazy. Look at that. I mean, and quite literally, that's looking at it from 1 year. There's 6 months. Let's go to 3 months. We'll go to 1 month. Yeah, and you can still see. I mean, this is just yeah. They must have made some kind of breakthrough. The only big breakthrough I did hear about recently is I know there's a company that was working on type 1 diabetes. And what they did is they basically they removed some cells from I think it was the pancreas. They removed some cells from this girl, and then they modified them so that these cells would now produce insulin and put them back in her. And now she's producing enough insulin that she doesn't need to take insulin. So that was kind of huge. But I only heard a little bit about it. I didn't actually hear the name of the company, but I don't think it was this one. I don't think it was this one. But still, wow, that's really, really cool. All right. Um, let's see. Oh, he did. He sold. Oh, I hope he didn't sell it at a loss. I hope he didn't sell it at a loss. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I can't wait for him to come back. I still. Oh, yeah. I hate to see when somebody does sell something at a loss. So, all right. Which oil stocks are you buying, if any? Well, I'll show you. I'm actually buying most of my oil is in. Well, there's two. There's actually two, but one of them is XEG. I'll show you this one here. This here is the iShares S&P TSX Capped Energy Index ETF. So this is the one that I have most of my energy play in right now at the moment. It looks like it does look a little bit like a like a mess, but this here ETF, we'll go back 3 years. They do tend to do well, like when oil is really, really doing well. They tend to do well. They haven't had the best of time lately, but I was hoping with more conflict in the Middle East, we get some movement on there. And I did say I want to put this out there. I did say that I'm okay with this trade falling flat because of peace in the Middle East. I would be very okay with that. But you hedge your bets. You still hedge your bets. So, all right. Oh boy, you guys are really, really all right. Let's see here. All right, Jay says, I'm glad I got out of SMP, or well, I guess it's the S&P 500 ETF, since they say it will contract next year. It was a good move moving to XEQT. So I mean, XEQT still has S&P 500 exposure. Now, keep in mind, there's always every year there's people that will be saying the market's going to crash. This is going to crash. That is going to crash. Um, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes, occasionally, they're right because the markets do that from time to time. I'm not convinced that we're gonna see a crash, especially if we're able to hit a soft landing. Now, there is, of course, a danger. if we don't hit a soft landing, then yeah, there could be something. For example, there could be a recession. But here's the thing. One of the things that we haven't seen is we've seen in both Canada and the US, we've seen the last jobs reports being better. So, we kind of, that would to me is if those job reports were getting worse in these last ones, that would have been an alarm bell and I would have been a little bit more concerned. But the fact that they turned out well, it makes me think I'm more optimistic. I think I'm more optimistic in that camp for these soft landings, for the market to look okay. Like we are, I mean, we have moved into a bull market, and I don't think it's ready to end yet. Now, with that being said, I think in 2023, if we do see a contraction, um, I think we'll see it toward, probably much later in the year, maybe quarter four, maybe fourth quarter, that type of thing. I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon, though. So, but XAQT is an absolutely great ETF. And I'll show you guys. Let's take a look at XEQT. So this here is the iShares Core Equity. So it's an all equity ETF. So they have exposure everywhere. Like this is a ETF that has thousands of companies um, under their belt. But if we look at the last year, you can see it is a nice movement up. And I think this is going to continue that way. Now, one of the nice things with this one as well is it gives you a lot more exposure. So you'll have exposure to emerging markets. You'll have international exposure. You'll have Canadian exposure, US exposure. You're getting everything with this one. So it is not a bad ETF at all. Now, you don't have a huge dividend. It's only like 1.828% quarterly, but it is fantastic. And I'm always comparing them as well to VEQT. Let's pull up VEQT. This is the Vanguard version of that same ETF. When you look, once again, it's pretty much very, very similar. Their yields pretty much similar, although I think the yield on XEQT a little bit higher. Big difference though is that the Vanguard one only gives you a dividend once a year, so you get the whole thing once a year. Whereas at least with the XEQT, you're getting it every quarter. So that's kind of one of the big differences between the two. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to skip everybody telling me that he was talking about Al Bundy. All right. Oh, we were already there. All right, let's see here. Burger says, I remember drug. It popped during the meme phase. Okay, interesting. That actually, I can see that being a company that Wall Street bets might go after. Um, I don't know. Is Wall Street bets going after them now too? That could be another reason that it pumped so crazy. I'm not saying that that is the reason, but I haven't really heard what Wall Street bets is up to lately. All right, let's see here. All right, Ricardo says, let's see, I have XOM and OXY as well as ET. All right, there we go. Not at all. I jumped in at 249 and jumped out at 40. Oh, well, that's still not bad, Ricardo. You still did well. You still did well. How many? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but was it a big jump in or maybe a little jump in? Because if it was a big jump in, then wow, congratulations. Patricia is in the house listening. I believe Patricia's still at work at this moment, but yeah. Let's see. Ricardo says I only had 10 shares. Oh boy. But it was a nice $50 spent and taking home. Turning $50 into $800, that's not too shabby at all. That's not too shabby. Just imagine though if if you had gone in like $1,000, that would have been really nice. And this is a common feeling right now. Patricia's saying watching the market going up is a bit scary to me. But you know, the market does go up a lot. Like let's take a look here. And I've shown this away. We'll go to we're gonna go to actually we won't go to VDY. Let's go to VFV. So this here, I'm using this one just because is very symbolic of the S&P 500. All right. So if we look at this, we're going to go to the 20-year. Here is an ETF. You'll see, if you look at this picture, it's pretty much always going up. You do have a couple little things, like here's the pandemic, just bang. Here, once again, this was the bear market. And then it's been going up like crazy since that. And that does happen. That does happen. Now, you have to look at yourself a couple of things. A couple of things I always say with this is that, okay, maybe we're here, but up here. But maybe this is who we are. Maybe, maybe those people who've been telling Jay that we're going to have this 15% retraction, maybe they're right. And we do. But if that does, if you're a long-term investor, it means that you're getting a better deal here, and you're going to be back up. Before you know it, you'll be above where you were at right now. So it really boils down to time frame. So if you're investing in good fundamental stocks, you have to always consider that time frame. If you're in a situation like, let's say, and I don't know how old Patricia is, but let's say Patricia is like on the verge of retirement, and she's thinking about it's getting time to start switching things over to income. Well, then, yeah, this could really suck if this were to happen. Because look at this. All of a sudden, this is a fall. That fall took look here, this is June. And it began basically right pretty much, we'll say at the beginning of 2022. And it went, for a good 6 months of straight down. And then to get it back, you're looking at another year to get back to where you were. So in total, you're looking at about 18 months. So if Patricia let's say she was going to retire in 3 months, you wouldn't want to get caught in that, because all of a sudden, when you're starting to convert things over to income producing stocks, if that's your portfolio, if that's your goal in retirement, you're at a point where it's like, oh, well, I could have converted here and had a lot more opposed to here. So, it can sometimes be a little scary. But if you're a long-term investor, I would almost welcome a crash of this nature, because, I'm still putting money in as it's going down, and I'm getting some good deals, and this is all going to continue to go up. And that's what it does do. Now, I guess some people can be worried. Like if you think about something like Japan, Japan had this situation where they had this massive crash, like was it the 80s? But the reason for that is their market was artificially inflated. Now, let's leave Japan and come back here, and let's look at this. Let's dissect this a little bit. This market right here, guess what? It was artificially inflated at this point. So in many, many ways, this crash was much worse. Not worser. Worser is not a word. But this, unless you have Worcestershire sauce. No, but this here was much worse than it would have normally been. So why was this inflated? Well, very simply, because the government was sending us all of this free support because of this. The pandemic, free money, going into the market. The market went up much higher than it should have at this point. That market probably should have came in like this. So probably this, I would even say right here would have been probably the real high if we didn't have that big cap from all of the money dropped into supports. So in reality, our drop was probably only like that, a little one, kind of like in the past, little drop, little drop, little drop. Pandemic, looks like somebody put a crack in the sidewalk drop. But, this was inflated because of that reason. So when you look at this, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, are we in a situation where we're artificially inflating the market? Now, you can argue, and I'm going to put this out here. You can argue and you can say, well, AI is doing that. We're in this big AI bubble. Everything is going up. And, there's people out there that are saying the AI bubble, it's looking a lot like the .com bubble. It's sort of following the same route. Fair enough. Now, I don't think I don't think, save a black swan event, that we have anything to worry about with AI breaking anytime soon. However, with that being said, we almost had a black swan event, and that was Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene had put those two quartz mines I've been talking about, put them out of commission. One of them is still out, but one of them has come back, so that's a good thing because these basically have the best quartz in the world, at least that are currently in a mine. And it's all about the purity. They're like 99.99999% pure. And this is fantastic. So a lot of the other mines, they don't produce anything like that in purity, and you have to artificially sort of increase the purity to be able to use them. Um, you know, in the extent of what they need for these mines. So that could have been a bad thing. The fact that we got one on means that we're probably gonna be fine. The second one, we're still waiting on that assessment. They're still, once the water's drained out, they can get in, they can access it. Um, then we'll be, which we'll still be fine, even with one, because the world, like right now, the chip makers already had about a 3 month supply. So the fact that if both had stayed completely out for 6 months, we would have been in a little bit of trouble. There would have been chip shortages. But that is, of course, turning itself around. So when you say that you're afraid of all-time highs, I wouldn't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with being cautious. Um, but even if we got another one this big, it will come back, and those are things that you do have to take into consideration. It's hard when you're flying high. Of course, you're like, that's a long way to fall, but you got to look at history. You have to look at history. Of course, there are things that could. I mean, there are black swan events that maybe none of us could even realize that could absolutely decimate the market, but you can't live your life being worried about them. Just like you can't sort of say, well, there's no point in doing anything today because maybe today's the day that asteroid gets through that NASA didn't see. You can't live your life that way. And the same thing with the market. If you're well diversified, uh, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And the S&P, like something like a VFE, I think is a great stock. Well, ETF, sorry, I don't call it. So I think you'll be fine. Anyway, there we go. Tangent finished. Tangent finished. All right. Ricardo says crackheads are out and about. Might as well make some money on the way up. There we go. There we go. Jungle says, I am forever in the S&P 500. If it contracts, I will continue to DCA until I retire in 10 years. There you go. That's exactly what I was saying. And that's the best attitude. I love that attitude, Eddie. You're doing fantastic. Jersky is in the house. Um, let's see here. Good afternoon, everyone. Jean says, is XEQT tax efficient? Better put in registered account or non-registered account. Okay, you're going to love this, Gene. If you look at the video that came out today, I actually break down the taxes in XEQT. So you can actually take a look and see what it looks like. However, with that being said, a good amount of XEQT is foreign income because, XEQT invests all around the world. So as a result, the best place for it is a registered account. So this is one of those ones I would say, yeah, absolutely. If you can put it into your TFSA, even if it's a situation where you may have to remove something from your TFSA to make room for the XEQT, it's probably still worth it to do it that way because it's not the best one to be holding in a non-registered account for sure. All right. Let's see. Jersky says, is it me or is the volume low? I'm on a new system. So we're kind of playing around with it. Like, let me see here. I'll push the volume up a little bit. Like there was some bass cracking here a little while ago. But I'm gonna figure this out. We'll get this all figured out as we're going. Hopefully that increased the volume a little bit. All right. I did learn last night not to use the sound effects because I've got sound effects now, but they are all really, really, really too loud for folks. Let's see. Ricardo says, well, I usually keep about $500 in cash to make any swing moves in my account, but with very liquid plays, I usually don't bet big. I figured $50, oh well, but it took me by surprise for sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, there was no indication that that was going to happen. None at all. Um, so you gotta say. Let's see. Patricia says, I have a while until retirement, but I'm always cautious. That must be the Libra in me. Okay, well, maybe. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with conservative investing. That's the thing. And that's why, and you guys have heard me say this, the phrase, your circle your wagon foundation, buy forever, hold forever type stocks. They're huge. And that's why it's nice to have those in your portfolio for sure. I think something like the VFV, I think that's a fantastic ETF. I don't think you can go wrong with it. All right. Jersky says, hopefully no crash until the new year so I can get more room in my TFSA. I think you're safe. I think you're very safe actually, Jersky. Yeah. They haven't yet announced what the new space is going to be. Unless they haven't, I haven't seen it. But usually I'm always jumping over that, so I can't wait to hear from the government so we know what space we're all going to have. Let's see. August 2nd was the Black Swan event of the year with the yen carry trade. Yeah, absolutely. That hurt a lot of people. That definitely hurt a lot of people. So I would call that a black swan. Yeah, nobody saw that coming, except for Japan, perhaps. Let's see. It was a flash crash, and then the pick me up came 3 days later. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of those days that it was nice if you had some cash on hand that you could draw. Alberta says, as a dividend investor in REITs, should I stay in and keep collecting shares or take profit? And does the tax hurt my profit? Okay. All right. So a couple of different things there. So with REITs do well when interest rates are cut. So as interest rates fall, REITs tend to grow. Now, we are looking at a situation where we're gonna have a rate cut again on Wednesday. More than likely, that's going to be a 50 basis point cut. Now, the next cut after that is in December, and a lot of economists are looking at that, and they think it's going to be another 50 basis points. So we could be looking at 100 basis points before the end of the year. That will be huge for REITs. So right now, you have to make up your own mind, but I will tell you this. I I would not be selling REITs at this point because they're going to be going up. But now the taxes on REITs are 100% taxable. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. So every dividend you get from a REIT is considered 100% income. So for that reason, you want to have REITs in your registered accounts. I wouldn't hold a REIT outside of my registered account. So get your REITs into your registered accounts. Now, I mean, if you've already got them outside of your registered accounts, yeah, you are in a situation where the dividends you're getting now are going to be taxed. But here's the thing: if you were holding, this is what I would do. Let's say you were holding RioCan in a personal account, and you have room in your TFSA. I would sell, take the capital gains, and then rebuy it in your TFSA. That's what I would do if you had the space. But yeah, don't if you can help it, don't hold REITs outside of a registered account. So yeah, there's a few things uh like XEQT, what we just mentioned before. You don't want to hold that in a non-registered account. Canoe, I love Canoe, but I wouldn't hold Canoe in a non-registered account because it's not even about the dividend in that case. It's because they do use a lot of return of capital. So that means that if you sell Canoe in a non-registered account, you're going to have a much bigger capital gain than you're expecting because of that. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see. Paul says, is there avatar effects on the new streaming software? I don't know. I don't know. Um, Quite literally, I watched the basic videos on how to get started yesterday. So it is definitely a learning thing. All right. Um, all right. Is there withholding tax for XEQT if I put it in my TFSA? Yes and no. I'm gonna say both. So basically with XEQT, so that's because iShares holds it and they're investing in foreign companies. All of those foreign companies, when they pay dividends back to iShares, are going to take their withholding tax. There's no way around it. There's no way you can protect against that. But when you look at the dividend that XEQT is giving to you, that's already been worked out. That's already gone. So there's no withholding tax on what is coming, what you're getting from XEQT. That's the no part. So when you put that in your TFSA, then you're not paying any tax on any of that. Because you've got foreign income in there. Um, I trying to think. I can't remember everything that's in there, but you've got foreign income. You've got a little bit of eligible dividends. You got some ineligible dividends. You got a whole bunch of stuff in there. Um, but yeah, all of that withholding. So anytime if you hold any kind of Canadian ETF, and it holds American or international stuff, there's withholding tax that's already been taken. There's nothing you can do about it. It's happening before it even gets to the company that's managing that ETF. Now, some people will argue. So let's give you an example here. This here is VFV. So there's a US version of this, and it's called VOO right here. So it's the exact same. This is pretty much the exact same ETF. Other than this one wants to be blank, but that's probably because there's two VOOs and I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. So this here is the exact same ETF. We'll go once again. We'll go to the 20-year on this one. But you can see it's done the exact same thing as what VFV is. Now this one, because it's being held by a US company, if you put it in your TFSA, you are going to have 15% withholding tax. So when you look at their dividend down here, the 1.234%, 15% of that will disappear to the IRS. But if you were to put this into your RRSP, then you're getting the whole thing back. Or not back, but you're not getting any withholding tax at all. So you get the whole thing. It gets dropped into your RRSP. But, and there's always a but, in the RRSP, even though you're not paying that 15%, you've now turned everything into 100% taxable, because as soon as you pull it out of the RRSP, you're taxed on it. So that is kind of the thing. When you look at, and I think it's time to do this. I think it's whiteboard time. Oops. This is what we were talking about last night, guys, just in case you're curious. All right, let's start getting rid of a few of these things here. I really should. There needs to be, I'll tell you, there needs to be something so that I can get rid of this all at once, just nice and easy. Instead of me having to go around, although it is a lot easier to do it in this is the Canva one. All right, now I just gotta get rid of these. Bang, 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 bang. All right, I'm just gonna go to a straight up pencil. All right. So when you're looking at your, all right, let's actually, okay. So we're gonna look at some taxes here. So tax, TAX. There we go, tax. So it's all about not paying twice to tax. So we won't want, the big thing that we're trying to avoid is double. You know what? I really should just, I should give up on that and just go to the text box. There we go. So double taxation, that's what all of the tax treaties are about, because they don't want you getting taxed twice. So when you look at, all right, you know what? Let's do this. All right, so we're going to look at two accounts. Actually, we'll look at three. We'll look at non-registered. There we go. So there's non-registered. Command C, Command V, Command V. There we go. All right, there we go. So non-registered, and we'll do TFSA, and we'll do the RRSP. There's other accounts, but they kind of fall into the same idea. All right, so when you look at a non-registered, nobody is, you're being taxed So there is tax being paid by one way, shape, or form. So everything gets taxed in that non-registered. So that I think is pretty clear. But when you are looking at what happens with, yeah, I need my thing back. All right, I'm just going to use this again. All right, so you do get taxed in here. So I'll just put a T here for tax. However, you also have withholding tax, right? So you can see between the two of that, you have a double taxation event. That's why there is this thing called, and I'm going to just put a FTC, the foreign tax credit. So the foreign tax credit will allow you to get back that double taxation because you only need to be taxed once. That's the whole goal, is to be taxed once. In the TFSA, there's no taxes, so we are not taxing you. But when you have a US stock, well, they are like, oh yeah, you're not being taxed, so we don't have double taxation. We can take our withholding tax. So they take their withholding tax. In that case, you're only taxed once. Now with Canadian stuff, don't worry about it. You're not getting taxed. In the RRSP, well, it's, everything is taxed. Everything in the RRSP is taxed, which is why when it comes to withholding tax, it's a no because it's already being taxed for one. It's not being taxed as you're making the money. It's being taxed when you withdraw. I'm getting good with the mouse. So yeah, when you withdraw money, it's being taxed. But that's what it is. It's all very kind of basic math. But it's all about no double taxation, single taxation. That's the way everything works. And that's kind of the way that you can sort of figure out what's going on, of course, in your accounts. Whew! Let's all right, what do you think about IFC.to? I'm thinking this may be a good circle the wagon stock. All right, let's go over and take a gander. All right, IFC. All right. And right here. So this here is Intact Financial Corporation. All right, let's just take a look. They've been doing really well the last year. So they have grown from like 195 to 270. So this is absolutely really good growth. They have a smaller dividend, so 1.807. That's not too shabby, not too shabby. They pay quarterly. They have a good solid dividend. When we look at their back end data, let's get down. Right down here. Their return on equity is fine. Return on assets for a financial company, they do tend to fall on the low side, so that's actually pretty darn good. And debt to equity, not a lot of debt for any kind of a financial company. That's really good. So only a 37%. So yeah, I would consider this to be a hold. I don't want to say hold forever, but I would definitely, at what their current fundamentals are, yes, I would say this is a good circle the wagon stock for sure. All right, Panda. Welcome back, Panda. I haven't seen you in a while. Panda says, I hate how capital gains tax is 50%. Like, why? Um, yeah. Well, the government has to make some amount of money. And 50% is not bad. It could be worse. Now, there's a couple of different things that have been going around. So with Canada, of course, they did raise the capital gains on people who make a lot more money and on businesses. So, there is more capital gains. So you could pay 75%. I think the threshold is like is it $100,000? Somebody throw it into chat. I haven't looked at that in a long time. I think it's $100,000 that you need to make in capital gains before you get jumped up to the next threshold. But yeah, now there is talk. There is talk in the US. I have heard, and I haven't heard this officially, but I have heard that one of the possible things that Kamala might do is taxing uh well, unrealized losses. So how would that work? I can only come up with one method, and this is totally I don't know. I haven't seen this in our platform if this is true or not, but I know a lot of the right wing media has been going on about it. But It might have been something that was sort of talked about, but in theory, the only way you could do it is you would have to basically calculate all your unregistered, your unrealized wins versus your losses. You'd have to calculate those, I guess, probably once a year, like at the end of the year. And then maybe they might tax you in that. But if they do that, and here's the thing, and this is kind of that thing. If we have a bad year and all of a sudden you got a lot of losses, then can you then get money back? Because you could carry, you should be able to carry losses backwards. Um, it'll be very interesting if they ever go with that. It'll be very interesting to see how that works out. I just don't think they're going to, though. I really don't. Um, but yeah, it'd be nice if we didn't have to pay capital gains. I'd be on board for that as an investor. But yeah, all right. Panda says, "Hi, Candace. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. Thank you, Panda. Always nice to have words of encouragement. Love it, love it." Bill says, "If you go to any specific REIT's webpage, you can see the dividend breakdown. Allied is usually over 50% return of capital, and the rest as regular income, but no tax breaks like with eligible divs." Yeah, no tax breaks at all. Now, the nice thing is, and here's the nice thing, um, any of that's a return of capital, you're not going to pay taxes on that year. But when you sell that REIT, the capital gains that you generate will be bigger because basically return of capital lowers your adjusted cost base and you end up paying larger REITs, larger capital taxes. Um, but nonetheless, and for both of those reasons, hold that REIT in a registered account and you don't even have to worry about it. So, that's what we got to say. JJ is in the house. Hello, beautiful peoples. There we go. Let's see. I see a couple of new faces. Welcome to the community from your communal mod. Yes, JJ is our mod. Let's see. JJ says, "I'll just point out on your ETF tax video that it makes a lot of sense about that 75% of XEQT distribution in foreign income, since basically 75% give or take is ex-Canada exposure." Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole thing. That's why with XEQT, you definitely want that one into a registered account. All right. Gene says, "Considering interest goes down further, is it time to buy Treasury bond ETF, for example, TLT?" Oh boy. um, it's actually funny. We actually talked a lot about that last night. So what happens in a nutshell when the rates go down? So bonds and rates have an inverse relationship. So what that means is when rates go down, bonds go up. But here's the thing. Bonds that are already out there, nothing happens to them. Okay, these are just new bonds. So new bonds issued will be higher. Because they're higher, their distribution, that doesn't change. It's the same amount. So that distribution is called a coupon. So that yield actually goes down. So that's one of the reasons that bonds become a lot less attractive when they go up. So, some people, Nine, for example, in the community, they're hedging their bet. They're thinking that there's going to be a big crash. If there's a big crash, they want to have, they're sort of stocking up on bonds for that. And that's fine. That's fine. But here's the big thing at this point. Right now, I personally don't think it's the best time to be buying bonds. Now, with Treasury bond ETFs, though, one of the nice things with an ETF, like I would go with a bond ETF before I would go with a bond. A lot of times, what they will do is they will fill themselves up with a lot of short-term bonds. Now, the reason for that is that short-term bonds, they're less sensitive to rate changes than long-term bonds. So that's what a lot of these ETFs do, and that works out really well for them. So in your case here, you're looking at TLT. Let's pull it up. Let's actually pull it up. This one here. TLT. All right. Let's see here. So right here, the iShares 20 plus Treasury bond. All right. And I'm going to we'll just pull up the last year. So this one has been doing pretty good. They've been doing pretty good. Now, they've been kind of sideways. They did have a bit of a pickup. They're having a little bit of a down. Um, Here's the thing with these type of ETFs. If you're playing them for a long term, they're going to be fine. I mean, you are getting, in this case here, 3.896% back. So you're going to continue. I look at these as being good income. Now, when we get to a point, though, um, so right now, as rates go down, as we sort of mentioned before, the bond will go. New bonds will go up, and that will play a little bit of a role in here. So whether or not it's up to you if you really, you know, give me a second here. It is up to you whether or not you want to get into them. I think they're fine. I have no issues with them. Like I understand Nine's strategy, and I think it's a good strategy. It's not the strategy I would personally use, but um, as long as they're like I said, bond ETF, a bit of a different story because they are balancing mostly a lot of short term with some of the moderate and some of the longer term as well. Um, that makes them a lot more stable. So nothing wrong with that. All right. Whoops. JJ says, let's see, HYLD's 2024 tax breakdown is going to be much more different due to internal transitions to its holding. So it will be very little foreign income tax paid. Yeah. Now keep in mind, and this is kind of one of the things I mentioned in the video as well. So when you look at an ETF, you're going to be looking at the previous year's tax breakdown. And so there can be changes into that fund, for example, that are going to absolutely change those numbers in the current year. So that's yeah, that's not too shabby, not too shabby at all. But what I do put down to that is that when you look at the previous year, it gives you a general idea of what it's going to look like. Even if it changes a little bit, you still get a general idea, and that will give you that general idea as to where you should be holding it. So with HYLD, for example, that's still, no matter what changes that they've had this year, I would still recommend that for a registered account opposed to holding it outside. All right. JJ says the live comment ain't showing up. Really? Um, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the comment. Other than it is kind of against a white background, but no, I'm seeing the comment. I am definitely seeing it. All right, let's go to the base view for a moment. And once again, we have an old comment because I have to sort of update it as soon as we get back over. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if I like that I have to update it, but it's a small thing. It's a small thing. Can you see that one, JJ? Hopefully you can see it. Can you guys all see the comments? Because I'm pumping them up on the screen. Hopefully you guys can see them. All right. Bill says under 250,000 you get 50% tax free. Okay. There we go. So it's 250,000. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, I had forgot exactly what the number was. All right. Let's see here. Funny Book says my first dividend from CADRLLY had a deduction of 20%. Only 80% of the dividend was reinvested, so into a drip. I was surprised. This is in my TFSA, and I assumed that if it was a CADR, I wouldn't have any tax. Okay. It boils down to what it is you're holding, though, right? So if you're holding any kind of US, if the company is US, you're going to have withholding tax. So there's two different versions. So if you are holding a US stock by a Canadian company, as I said, the Canadian company, they take the hit for that withholding tax. And then the number that they give you already has that factored in. And then that's what you would get. If you are holding a company that is US, it doesn't matter what they're holding per se, you are going to get hit in that TFSA. That company is going to take 15% of that money. So if you were expecting for argument's sake, we're just going to say this is crazy, but let's say you had 100% dividend from a US company, they take 15% and you'd only receive 85%. And I only did that just to make the math easy. I've never heard of a 100% dividend before, but that's just the way it works. It's kind of it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks, but you know, it all boils down to the U.S. doesn't they look at the TFSA and they're like, that's not a registered account to them. Um, and they're going to tax you because there's nothing saying there's no reason they wouldn't because you're not getting double taxed. That's the whole issue, as we sort of mentioned before. All right, let's see a couple of happy faces. All right, Andrew says, I'm thinking of putting the max into my RDSP, then waiting 10. Is there any downside other than the grants and bonds? So with your RD, so that's your registered disability savings plan. There is no, I mean, there's no, here's the thing, depending on with the grants, if you have, because what the way it works is you put in money, and if you match a certain amount, the government does give you grants. They match a certain amount as well, so you can definitely pick up some money. Now, the big issues with the RDSP is it's not so much how much you're putting in. As long you can max it as much as you want because each year you'll have more space to put in. So um, it's not a bad thing. And plus, you also want to. The other thing too, though, and this is kind of, I guess, one area where I might say is if you put in a lot of money beforehand, you want to pay attention to make sure that whatever limits they're putting in for the matching, you want to make sure you at least have room for that because you don't want to lose any of that matching money because it's free money. But the big other concern is that when it comes time to, it's one of those accounts you don't want to pull out before retirement because if you were to pull it out before retirement, you can start having the government saying, oh, we're taking back some of that money. We're taking back that grant money. So that's one of those things just to keep in mind with the RDSP. All right. Tom says, so note to self, put RS, RMAX, and EIT into next year's TFSA. Good move, absolutely. Let's see. Canadian hedged, not CADR. Okay. Still makes that, it makes sense. Let's see here. JJ says, funny books, the withholding tax is being withheld by the CDR issuer regardless. It's not Canadian hedged or not. Exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing. If it is a CDR, so let's say any of those CDRs from from CIBC, they're all going to get hit by withholding tax, but not at your what they tell you they're going to give you, that's what you're going to get. It happens before, so it's actually CIBC who's paying that withholding tax. So and they're not even paying it per se. It's basically the IRS takes it on the way from the company to CIBC, and then when they do their calculations on what you're going to get paid, that's already in because they didn't even receive that money. So just something to keep in mind with a CDR. Yeah, there's no real way around it. And unfortunately, I mean, all of the CDRs that I'm aware of, I think they're all US. So for now, I think I heard rumors that there could be some other countries that they might be considering doing, but for now, they're all US companies. Let's see. Berger says, are capital gains and dividend payments different percentages in Canada? Um, Let me see here. Well, capital gains basically come out to 50%, unless you're making, and we got that clarified by, uh, So 250,000. So if you're making more than 250,000, or you're a corporation, then you are paying 75%. So and that means whatever your marginal rate is on 75% of that capital gain. Dividend payments, they don't actually really figure into capital gains. They're a completely different tax treatment. Well, they are to a certain extent. You can have within a dividend. So if you have a dividend, you can look at the breakdown. Sometimes the breakdown will have a percentage of it that are capital gains. And that, once again, gets treated exactly like capital gains. Unless they're in a registered account, then it's ignored completely. So yeah, so basically, yes, some dividends get treated a little bit like capital gains, or a portion of them get treated like capital gains. And for the most part, they're different, but there is that little sliver, if that makes sense. All right. All right, and JJ's trying to answer. I'm gonna skip down here to funny books. Thanks, JJ. It was such a surprise to learn that. JJ types a lot. Let's see if the underlying stock or ETFs in the U.S. or elsewhere, there's always going to be withholding tax. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna skip past that. Let's see. The live comment was not showing up for Panda Blaze's comment earlier. Oh, it might, maybe I didn't click on it. That could have happened. Sometimes I will read the comment and I haven't actually clicked on it. Now I've got a little tiny thing underneath the comment that says, remove from broadcast or add to broadcast. Let's see, it's all good now. It's just super transparent, hard to see. Okay, well I think I can adjust the transparency on the comments. Um, I just have to figure out where. I don't know where. I'll have to find that out, but I'll see if I can maybe make it a slightly less transparent to make them a little bit easier to see. Panda says I can see them. All right. Funny Book says so. Future LLY, so Eli Lilly stocks going into my RSP, not TFSA. Lesson learned. Okay, but funny books. If it's a CDR, putting it in your RRSP is not going to help. You will still lose that 15% because that's not happening on your side. It's happening before it gets to CIBC. If it's a CDR. Now, if you were holding Eli Lilly stocks, not the CDR, but the actual stocks, putting that in your RSP, they would not lose that 15% withholding tax. So that's kind of the difference there. Just to put that into perspective. Andrew says I'm hearing RDSP has a 10-year wait before you can pull from it, and a lifetime max of 200,000. That's a good question. I'm not sure what the lifetime max on it is. I know I did a video ages ago. I looked up a whole bunch of information on the RDSP because I had it in there. But I can look into that again because it is always good to know. Panda Blay says, gotta go. See you guys later. Take care, Candace. Take care, Panda. It was really good to see you. Absolutely. JJ says, you only avoid the withholding tax if you buy Eli. All right, that's exactly what I just said. All right. All right. Funny Book says, oh, thanks for the clarification. All right. Awesome. All right, guys, we've been at this for an hour and 38 minutes. So if you got your last minute questions, or your final questions, or last call, folks, get them in there. Get them in here. This has been a fantastic stream. You guys rock. Now, I do think. All right, there we go. One of the things I'm going to have to do is I think I have to keep track of my of YouTube on the other monitor, just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to see supers when they come in. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing for sure. All right, now while we are waiting for some questions, let's go take a quick gander over at the Discord. Ooh, not the no, not the Discord. I want to show you guys something. We're gonna go to YouTube. I had a comment the other day, and it surprised me. The comment was, I didn't know that what the community tab was, or that there was even tabs. So I do want to show you guys this. So I'm gonna go to my channel here. So when you go to my channel, you'll notice we got these tabs. Like you're normally probably always on home. We got a video, we got shorts if you want to look at a shorter live playlist, but you got community. So this here, guys, is the community tab. Now, what we have in the community tab is this is a place where you can take a look at. Now that there is not a message. That's just showing me. That's where I can add a message. But it gives you polls. So when we vote on which videos get deep dives on, it's all in here. So you can see right now the current video. I'll put a plus on that. The current one we have right now is basically the last video of the month. Is that it's the channel members' choice. So the channel members get to choose what that video is, but you guys get a choice as well. So in this video, and I'll drop down the comments, you guys get to vote. You guys get to drop in and say, hey, this is what I'd like a video on. Somebody actually asked for an AQN deep dive. I thought that was funny. Um, but you get to drop it in, and when you drop it in, read through some. If you see one that you like, um, click that little thumb button because it will give it more weight. So what I'm gonna do is when I narrow this down to 5 for the channel members to vote on, I mean, I'll look like this one right here has a 2. These two have 1s. This one has a 4. So yeah, so right now this one here and this one here are probably going to be in the 5 that the channel members are going to vote on. So I'll probably have the channel members voting by, I would say, Monday. So if you got ideas, or if you just want to come in and put your thumb on the one that you like, just to give it that upvote, these are where we're gonna figure that all out. So anyway, that's the community tab. It is very, very cool. And going forward, well, not yet, but soon, YouTube is looking to enhance this. So that way there, a lot of the stuff that we do over on like Discord, we're going to be able to do on the community tab. And I'm hoping I can actually begin to put a copy of the schedule on the community tab as well. So this is a great place to go. If you're a channel member as well, you will find that uh, every so often, oops, let's go back one. This also is where the channel members, this here is a members only. So this here, they went in and they voted. 45% of them wanted me to talk about interest rates, stocks, and bonds in the last, in the show that we had last night. So, that's where that all comes in. So channel members, be sure to come in here as well, because there's always a lot of great information in here for you. So that's just that little thing there, just so you guys know. But right now, over on the Discord, that is where we have our schedule. So here we go. Let's pull this down. Channel member live stream. We've already done that. I'm just going to remove that. And that video has already come out. And there we go. But that is where you'll find the schedule so you know what's going on. So the next thing that's going to happen on the channel is this week on the 20th. So Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's when we do our, that live stream. That live stream tends to go longer than these ones. It usually goes about 2 hours. Sometimes I think we actually hit 3 hours one time, but that's because the audience was absolutely exploding. So, and we've got right now a schedule all the way up to January 5th. So not too shabby. I like for you guys to sort of have a general idea when things are coming out. It makes it very predictable. So we have it here. We also have it on the YouTube as well. Or sorry, the Facebook. There's a Facebook group as well. Both the links to here and the Facebook group, you can find them down below in the extra information underneath the chat. All right. Let's get back here to let's get back to full screen actually. Let's whoop-a-doo-doo. All right, back to the base view. Back to the base view. All right, let's see. Where are we at? ZID. Yes. So that there is that is a India ETF. I'm still pretty bullish on India. So I don't think it's I think it's a good one. I do think it is a good one. And I just came back here, but let's go back once again. All right, we will go over here too. And you'll notice, this is the thing. I have to then come back here and click this again. But that's all right. I don't mind. So ZID, let's bring it in here. And you'll notice here, this here is the BMO, India ESG Leaders Index. All right. And we're going to pull up the 1 year. And you'll see, India has been doing well. So India right now has the fastest growing economy in the world. They don't have the largest economy. That's the US. But they have the fastest growing economy. So they have been doing really, really well. And I've been saying since the beginning of the year, this is probably any kind of India ETF is probably a good idea. So this is actually doing pretty good. So I think XID, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. And keep in mind, funny books. ZID is definitely a way to get some good international exposure too. So just something to keep in mind. Now, there could be people. There could be folks that are like, I don't want to invest in India because of all of this controversy currently going on with them, and that's fine too. That's fine. This is what I love about investing. There's so many options that if there's something you just don't feel comfortable with, fine. You can find something else. It's always good. All right. Tom says, not a question, but always learn a little bit every time I tune in. Thanks, Candace and the community. JJ, so bonds always will suck, basically. Hypothesis confirmed. Oh boy. Let's see. Don't buy them as started by the guru. There we go. Has the Candace guest log been set up yet? No, it hasn't. I haven't done it yet. I haven't. I actually have to create two. I have to create one for if I'm just talking to a person, and then if I want to bring up a screen like this, I have to create a second one and add another circle, and then probably move this circle up a little bit. It's like I'm moving my mouse over it, like you can see my mouse. You can't see the mouse, but yeah, my circle head has to go up. Another circle has to get put in. That part's pretty easy. The other part I just have to create two separate thingies. So probably gonna get that done sooner than later. That's kind of the goal. All right, everybody. Oh boy, this has been another great show. I love it. And I'm gonna go back to full screen. I can't start to give my preamble. There we go. Back to base view. There we go. There we go. Um, there we go. And there we'll remove all of them. Hopefully, guys, I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. It's gonna be, if you're in Ontario or the East, so JJ over there in Montreal, we're gonna have fantastic weather. It's actually going up to, I think it was going up to 16 or 17 today, and tomorrow it's going up again, and we're gonna have 20s, like up in the 20s for the beginning of the week. So absolutely enjoy the weather while you can, while you can. This is Canada. Um, these little lingering touches of summer go away pretty quickly, and then it's a crap fest weather-wise for the rest of the year. But it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. We will be back here. We will be back here again on Sunday, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that show. And as I showed at the beginning of the show, I'll show you guys again right now. Now, I'm not on this. You can still hear me, but I haven't added the camera yet to this. But this here is the new look of this week. So I will be, where it says guest, I guess it doesn't say guest one on you, but I'll be next to the picture and everything. So I kind of went with a little tab look on them, but that's our opening picture. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Let's bring me back. So yeah, I do have to add the camera to that. So it's kind of interesting. Like one of the big differences between this and StreamYard is that I have to configure everything, but it gives me so much more control. So I do like that. And yeah, we'll have that all together and ready for this week. So I'm looking forward to it. I will see you guys Sunday. And you know what? I always look for, I love having a comment that's the perfect comment to end things on. And in this case here, we'll end it with Mary. So also on your way out, because Mary's here, you gotta hit the like button on the way out. I see there's 33. I'd like to see 35. I'll actually come. You know what? I will put away some stuff and I will come back and look. And I'm looking to see 35. So on your way out, hit the like button. I will see you guys on Sunday. I can't wait. Until then, everybody, take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye, everyone.